This exploration now brings us to a most profound spiritual truth, a concept that underpins much of the mystical understanding of existence. We speak of duality, the inherent two-ness of all things. Think of the day, forever bound to the night that follows. Consider life, defined in part by the inevitability of death, joy and sorrow, creation and dissolution, stillness and motion. These are not mere human observations, but fundamental rhythms. The very pulse of the cosmos beats in these perceived opposites. Yet, this duality is not a state of perpetual war between opposing forces. It is, rather, a delicate dance of interdependence, a sacred partnership. How could we comprehend the brilliance of light without the velvet cloak of darkness? Could the sweetness of joy be truly savoured without the bitter taste of sorrow? One pole gives meaning, definition, and existence to the other. They are two faces of the same ancient, indivisible coin. To deny one is to fail to fully grasp the essence of the other. This understanding challenges our simpler notions of absolute separation. Ancient wisdom across cultures has long recognized this profound interplay. Perhaps the most eloquent symbol is the taijitu, the yin and yang, a perfect circle divided by a flowing line, half dark, half light. Crucially, within the deepest dark, a point of light resides, and within the brightest light, a seed of darkness is held. They are not static, but endlessly flowing one into the other, a constant dynamic equilibrium, a testament to balance. Other symbols, too, echo this truth: intertwined serpents, the sun and moon united. Why is this concept of duality so vital to our current journey? Because it offers us a key, a lens through which to see anew. It allows us to move beyond the stark, fear-laden labels of good and evil, especially when we consider spiritual practices that engage with power. To understand duality is to begin to perceive the whole intricate picture, not just the isolated fragments that our fears may highlight. It invites us to look deeper, to question our inherited assumptions, and to find a more nuanced, more complete understanding of magic itself. The human mind often seeks to categorize, to simplify the vast unknown. We draw lines, create boxes, and label them good or evil. This binary is comforting, perhaps, in its straightforward clarity. But the universe, in its infinite complexity, rarely adheres to such neat divisions. Many ancient spiritual traditions perceived the cosmos differently. They saw not a battleground between absolute good and absolute evil, but a dynamic interplay of diverse forces, each with its role, each necessary for the grand, unfolding cosmic drama. Consider the raw, untamed powers of nature, often perceived as destructive. A raging wildfire consumes the old growth, yet its ashes enrich the soil. From that seeming devastation, new life bursts forth with renewed vigor. A violent storm brings crashing waves and torrential rain, yet it also replenishes the parched earth, disperses seeds far and wide. Death itself, the ultimate shadow, is the solemn gatekeeper of rebirth. The fallen leaf nourishes the tree from which it fell. These are not acts of malice, but essential processes of transformation. These powerful, sometimes terrifying natural forces are not inherently evil. They are expressions of cosmic energy, indifferent to human moral judgments. A volcano erupts not from wickedness, but from geological necessity. The predator hunts not from cruelty, but from the instinct to survive. It is often our limited human perspective, our fear or our grief, that casts these events in the stark light of good or bad. The universe operates on principles far grander, far more cyclical, than our simple moral dichotomies can often encompass. This understanding has profound implications for magical practice. Energies that might seem dark or even destructive are not always malevolent. They can be forces of cleansing, of profound and necessary purification. They can be called upon to banish stubborn negativity, to break stagnant patterns, to dismantle old, restrictive structures, thus clearing the path for new creation. The true nature of such work lies not in the force itself, but in the informed intention, the ethical framework of the practitioner, and the ultimate purpose for which such potent energies are consciously directed. The principle of duality echoes not only in the vast cosmos, but also within the intricate, often hidden landscape of the human psyche. Here, we encounter what many traditions refer to as the shadow self. This is the repository of all that we have disowned or repressed. Our fears, our insecurities, our anxieties, our unexpressed angers. But the shadow is not solely a container for negativity, for perceived flaws. It also holds immense, often untapped reservoirs of creative energy. Our dormant strengths, our hidden talents, our deepest unspoken passions. To deny or suppress this shadow self is a common yet ultimately futile endeavor. For what is pushed into darkness does not simply vanish into oblivion. Instead, it festers. It gains a subtle and often unacknowledged power. It can influence our thoughts, our emotions, our behaviors in ways we do not realize. Often, the unacknowledged shadow is projected outwards onto others. We see in them the very traits we cannot or will not face within ourselves. This leads to judgment, to conflict, to a fractured perception of reality. A life lived in denial of half of one's own being. The journey towards true wholeness, therefore, involves a courageous turning inward. It requires a willingness to face the shadow, to acknowledge its presence, to explore its contents without flinching, without immediate condemnation. This is not an easy path. It demands honesty, vulnerability, and deep self-compassion. It means meeting those parts of ourselves we have long sought to avoid, to understand their origins, their messages, their frustrated needs. This sacred inner work is the alchemy of personal transformation, turning the lead of our hidden aspects into the gold of integrated selfhood. The rewards of embracing and integrating the shadow are truly profound. We reclaim lost parts of our energy, our vitality, our authentic power. We develop greater emotional maturity, deeper empathy for ourselves and for others. For when we acknowledge our own capacity for darkness, we are less quick to judge. Wholeness does not mean achieving a state of perpetual, unblemished light. It means becoming a complete human being, embracing all facets of our nature, the light and the shadow, reconciled and working in harmony within. This is the foundation of true self-knowledge and enduring inner peace. Many spiritual practices that society has hastily labeled as dark magic are, in essence, paths that consciously acknowledge this principle of totality. They do not shy away from the shadowed aspects of existence or of power. Instead, they seek to understand and engage with the full spectrum of energies. This includes those forces that others may fear, misunderstand, or reject. It is an approach that recognizes the world in its completeness, not a sanitized, idealized version, but reality in all its raw magnificence, its beauty, its terror, its creative force, its destructive potential. Consider again the metaphor of walking through a dark forest at night. Initially, the encroaching darkness can evoke a primal sense of fear. The familiar world is obscured. Unknown shapes lurk in the periphery. Yet, as our eyes adjust, as our senses sharpen, a different reality emerges. The darkness reveals the subtle glow of the moon, the distant shimmer of stars, the nocturnal sounds of the forest, the scent of damp earth and unseen blossoms. The mystery itself becomes a source of profound awakening, of heightened awareness. The dark is not empty, but full of hidden life and unseen wonders. In a similar vein, the energies sometimes referred to as dark in magical traditions are not necessarily synonymous with evil or malevolent intent. They can be the potent, chthonic energies of the deep earth itself, the powers of the night, the mysteries of the subconscious mind, the unknown. These are primal forces, ancient and formidable, holding immense potential. Like any significant power, they demand respect, skill, and careful handling. They are not to be trifled with, nor approached with arrogance or ignorance, but to deny their existence is to deny a vast segment of reality's power. Here, the crucial element, the defining factor, is always the practitioner. Their heart, their training, their ethical compass, their ultimate intention. Is the purpose of the work to inflict unwarranted harm, to dominate, to control? Or is it to heal, to protect, to empower, to bring about necessary change? The same universal energies can be channeled towards vastly different ends. A flame can provide warmth and light, or it can consume and destroy. The power itself is neutral. Its alignment is determined by the will that directs it. This is a profound responsibility that rests upon any who dare to work with such forces. The ultimate aim of many profound spiritual paths is not the annihilation of darkness, nor is it the exclusive pursuit of an idealized, unshadowed light. Rather, it is the achievement of a dynamic, harmonious balance between these forces. A state of equilibrium where perceived opposites are understood as complementary. This is the path of true mastery, of profound wisdom and inner integration. It is not about choosing one side over the other, but about embracing both. Understanding their interplay, their necessity, their eternal dance within and without. This journey transforms our perception of conflict into an appreciation of cosmic harmony. This conscious integration is often referred to as a sacred marriage, an alchemical union of the light and shadow aspects of the self and of existence. It is the recognition that both are divine, both are essential. The sun and the moon, the conscious and subconscious, the seen and unseen. When these polarities are brought together in willed, loving awareness, something new and more complete is birthed from their union. A higher state of consciousness, a more expansive understanding of reality. This is the transformative power of embracing the totality of being. This integrated perspective leads inevitably to a deeper understanding of all is one. We begin to see how the light and the dark are not separate warring kingdoms, but interconnected expressions of a single, unified, underlying reality. The threads of shadow are as essential to the grand tapestry as the threads of light. Each contributes to the richness, the depth, the beauty of the whole design. This recognition fosters a profound sense of compassion and interconnectedness. We see the interplay of light and shadow in ourselves, in others, in the world. And we understand that we are all part of this magnificent unfolding divine play. Therefore, let us release the simplistic notion of light as good and dark as evil. They are not enemies locked in eternal combat, but essential partners in existence. The shadow holds potency, mystery, and the potential for profound rebirth. The light offers clarity, growth, and the brilliance of conscious awareness. Both are necessary for the soul's journey, for true spiritual insight. Embracing this sacred duality unlocks the gates to deeper wisdom. It allows us to walk our paths with greater courage, authenticity, and wholeness. For in the heart of balanced duality, we find the truth of unity.